Hey there, founders and small business owners. Let's talk about a problem I see all the time. Your brand, it feels more like a poster on the wall than an actual strategy, right? Well, today we're going to change that. I'm going to walk you through how to turn your brand into the most powerful system in your entire business.
So, does this sound familiar? You've spent hours, maybe even days, defining your mission, your vision, your values, but you have this nagging feeling that it all gets lost in the day-to-day chaos of just running the business. If you're nodding along, you are definitely not alone. And the good news is, we are going to fix it, starting right now.
You know, there's actually a name for this problem. It's called strategic drift. It's what happens when your brand lives in a Google Doc, but not in your team's everyday actions. It happens slowly, almost without you even noticing, as all those little shortcuts and habits start to define your business more than your actual brand promise ever did.
And that leads us to this huge mistake. We think that writing down our values is the same as living them. But here's the hard truth. A brand promise without a plan to actually deliver on it, well, it's not just a nice idea, it becomes a liability. Over time, that gap between what you say and what you do erodes trust with your customers and, honestly, with your own team.
So if you only take one thing away today, let it be this. This is the big aha moment. The common mistake is treating your brand like it's just a communications exercise. Marketing, logo, slogans. The powerful shift is to see your brand as a performance. It's not what you say, it's what you do, every single day.
And once you make that mental flip, everything changes. Your brand stops being this abstract thing. It becomes tangible. It's something people can see and feel in the products you make, and the way your team actually behaves, and in the physical and digital places where your customers meet you.
So you're probably asking, okay, that sounds great, but how do I actually do that? Well, luckily for us, there's a brilliantly simple framework that breaks this whole performance idea down into 4 key arenas where your brand truly comes to life.
These are your 4 stages: your products or services, your communications, your team's behavior and values, and your environment. Now let me be super clear about one thing. These are not marketing channels. No, these are the core operational parts of your entire business.
All right, let's break them down. We'll start with the most concrete one, your products and services. The way you design, price, and package what you sell has to be a direct reflection of your brand promise. So for example, if you say your brand is all about deep expertise, you better be offering specialized, in-depth services, not a giant, shallow menu of everything under the sun. Second, we've got communications. This is all the stuff you say, your website copy, your sales pitches, your social media. The name of the game here is consistency. Every single piece of content needs to echo the same core ideas, so you build this unmistakable position in your customer's mind.
Now this next one might just be the most powerful arena of all, behavior. Look, your company culture isn't what's written on a poster in the break room. It's what your team actually does when no one's watching. If one of your values is responsiveness, you don't just talk about it, you start measuring your customer response times. Because behavior is the ultimate proof.
And finally, your environment. This means your website, your app, your office, your storefront, anywhere a customer interacts with you. A clean, simple website isn't just a nice design choice. It's a signal to your customer that your brand values clarity. Your environment is a huge part of the experience.
Okay, that's the theory. But we're business owners. We need action, right? So let's get operational. Here's a dead simple 4-step action plan you can literally start using the minute this is over.
Here's how it works. First, just get crystal clear again on your brand promise. Step 2, you identify those 4 arenas we just covered. Third, for each of those arenas, you ask yourself, what would our brand promise look like if it were fully alive right here? And then step 4, the fun part. You design specific, concrete initiatives to make it real.
All right, you ready to make this real? Let's do a little workshop right here, right now. Grab a pen, open a new note on your computer. We're going to spend the next 1 minute brainstorming one potential idea for each of these 4 arenas for your business.
First up, products. What is one specific change you can make to what you sell that would better prove your brand promise? Just one thing. Maybe it's simplifying your service packages. Maybe it's adding one key feature. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Next, communications. And I want you to think bigger than just one social media post. What's a structural change you could make? Maybe you could launch a new weekly email series that really hammers home your expertise, or create a new standard for clarity in every single client proposal. Now for behavior. Remember, this has to be something you can actually see and measure. So, What's one practice you could start that would make one of your values real? For instance, if you value being proactive, maybe you could start every team meeting by asking, what's one thing we can do for a client before they even ask?
And this brings us to the golden rule for every single one of these ideas. They can't be vague wishes. Each initiative has to be a concrete task, it has to be measurable, and this is the most important part, someone on your team has to own it. Because let's be honest, no ownership means no action.
And last one, your environment. What's one improvement, just one, that you could make to your website, your app, or your physical space? Maybe it's simplifying your website navigation to just 3 main items, or maybe it's redesigning your client onboarding process to feel totally effortless.
Now, as you look at the ideas you just jotted down, use this as your checklist. Is your idea kind of abstract and fluffy? That's weak work. Or is it concrete and operational? That's strong. Are you just talking about visual updates, or are you making a real structural change? This is your litmus test for turning ideas into action.
So when you actually start doing this, when you start designing and executing these kinds of concrete initiatives across all 4 arenas, something really profound starts to happen. You stop just having a brand.
And you start building a system. Your whole goal is to make your promise real. When your brand is consistently visible in what you sell, what you say, how your team acts, and the spaces customers find you, well, it just stops being an idea. It becomes the living, breathing reality of your business.
It becomes the operating system for your entire company. It guides your decisions, it shapes your culture, it builds real, lasting trust. It becomes systemic, and that is how you turn your brand from a document into your most valuable business asset.